Why do some men leave a lasting impression on women within minutes? Is it their looks, money, or status, or something more subtle and powerful? You'll be surprised to learn it's not what they have, but how they speak. High-value men have
a secret tool, and it's not flashy. It's their way of speaking. They don't try to impress. They don't need to, yet their words linger.
Women remember them long after the conversation ends. In this video, you'll discover how to speak in a way that makes you unforgettable, not with arrogance, but with calm confidence and deep presence. The power of first impressions, creating lasting intrigue. First impressions are the foundation of long-term attraction, and high-value men master them. Most people get this wrong. They try too hard to impress with jokes, stories, or charm. But high-value men know that the first conversation isn't about winning her over, it's about leaving her with a feeling. The secret lies in how they make her feel during those first moments. Women are highly attuned to emotional cues, body language, tone of voice, and energy, often before a word is spoken. How you carry yourself, your posture, presence, and eyes. These shape whether she'll think of you long after. The unspoken language of confidence. True confidence can't be faked. It comes from knowing your worth without needing to prove it. A high-value man walks in with quiet assurance. He stands tall, speaks calmly, and moves with intention. He doesn't rush his words or fill silence out of nervousness. Instead, his measured pace draws attention and signals control. Confidence isn't about volume, it's about clarity and purpose. And women are naturally drawn to men who don't need validation in every sentence. Even silence, when used skillfully, becomes a strength. A thoughtful pause allows her to reflect and opens space for emotional depth. Emotional resilience. Calm is magnetic. Women naturally seek emotional safety in their connections, and high-value men radiate emotional stability. If she teases or lightly challenges him, he doesn't get defensive or overreact. Instead, he responds with steady composure, a trait that signals true maturity. This calmness isn't weakness, it's the kind of inner strength that builds trust and creates
long-lasting interest. So how exactly do they speak in a way that captivates?
We saw that calm composure isn't just attractive, it's a mark of emotional strength. But what truly sets a high-value man apart is how he reacts in key moments, with subtlety, ease, and control. Instead of getting flustered when teased or lightly challenged, he laughs it off or turns it into playful banter. He doesn't let small things shake him. This kind of calmness is magnetic. It speaks volumes about his emotional resilience. Every interaction becomes a chance to leave a
lasting impression.
By staying cool, collected, and confident, he stands out from others who may be overly reactive or too eager to impress. Small gestures, big impact. The silent language of power, high value. Men don't need grand gestures to get noticed. They understand that subtle actions can speak louder than words. From the calmness in their voice to the steadiness of their gaze, everything is deliberate. A simple nod to show engagement, relaxed hands, open posture. All these behaviors send strong, reassuring signals. Women are naturally gifted at reading body language, often more than people realize. That's why these micro-expressions build warmth, trust, and attraction more effectively than scripted words ever could. The allure of mystery, less said, more desired. In today's world of constant oversharing, a touch of mystery becomes incredibly attractive. High-value men know that not revealing everything right away adds intrigue. The unknown draws curiosity. Our brains are wired to solve puzzles. Women often feel drawn to things they don't fully understand. That's why leaving a little unsaid can be far more compelling than telling all. If she asks about his job, he might say, "It's a little different, but I enjoy it." That one line leaves her intrigued, imagining what he meant and replaying the conversation in her mind. Mastering the art of ambiguity. Say less, mean more. High-value individuals use ambiguity to keep conversations engaging, not to avoid them. They give just enough while leaving space for curiosity to grow. If asked about hobbies or passions, instead of listing them all, you could say, "I'm working on something really exciting. I'll share it with you sometime." That simple phrase builds anticipation, keeps her interested, and creates a reason for the next conversation. And that curiosity, that's what makes you linger in her mind. We discovered that mystery isn't about hiding who you are, it's about
adding depth. High-value men know that you don't need to share everything to keep someone intrigued.
In fact, the less you reveal, the more their imagination works in your favor. They leave intentional gaps, spaces that invite curiosity. And often, it's those gaps that create the strongest attraction. Strategic silence. Letting silence speak. For you, another key to mystery is knowing when to stay silent. While silence makes many feel awkward, high-value men see it as an opportunity. They don't rush to fill every gap with chatter. Instead, they allow the quiet to breathe, creating tension and anticipation. Picture this. You ask a thought-provoking question, then pause. That silence doesn't feel empty. It draws her in, making your presence more commanding and memorable. These deliberate pauses show confidence, and they create a sense of suspense that lingers long after the conversation ends. Playing the long game, slow and steady, wins hearts. Mystery works best when paired with patience. High-value individuals don't rush to reveal their full story. Instead, they let their personality unfold over time, bit by bit. Each interaction reveals
something new.
And with every piece, the woman becomes more curious, craving the next encounter to learn more. Creating emotional impact. Speak to her soul, not just her ears. What sets high-value men apart is their ability to evoke deep emotional responses. It's not just about the words they say, but the feelings they stir. They skip the small talk and move into meaningful topics. They ask questions that bring out passion, values, and personal stories, the things that matter most. This creates an emotional journey, not just interest, but investment. Asking thought-provoking questions. The doorway to real connection. One of the best ways to build emotional connection is by asking powerful questions. High-value men don't stay on the surface. They dive deeper, asking things like, "What's something you used to believe that you don't anymore? When was the last time you felt truly alive?" These aren't just questions, they're invitations into her world. And once she steps into that space, the connection becomes real. We'll uncover how high-value men listen, not just with their ears, but with full presence, creating a space where trust, attraction, and intimacy can truly grow. Previously, we explored how high-value men ask thought-provoking questions to spark meaningful conversations. Now let's dive into how they turn ordinary dialogue into unforgettable emotional experiences. Rather than asking cliché questions like, "What's your favorite color?" they go deeper. "What's something you're passionate about that most people don't know?" Or, "What's the most exciting thing you've done recently?" These kinds of questions push the conversation beyond the surface, encouraging self-reflection and emotional engagement. And that's where genuine connection is born. Storytelling to move. Emotion, not impress. Storytelling is a powerful emotional tool, and high-value men use it wisely, not to brag, but to connect. If they want to express a sense of adventure, they might share a spontaneous travel experience. To show vulnerability, they may recount a personal challenge they've overcome. These aren't stories for show, they're crafted to evoke feeling. The listener becomes part of the moment, not just an observer, planting emotional hooks, moments that stay with her. High-value men are masters at embedding emotional hooks into the conversation. This could be a sincere compliment like, "I really admire how passionate you are about that. It's refreshing to meet someone with that kind of energy." The compliment focuses on character, not appearance. And because of that, it hits deeper and lasts longer. She's likely to replay that moment in her mind, not just the words, but the feeling she had when you said it. The power of absence. Mastering the push-pull dynamic. One of the most effective tools is the push-pull strategy. After a meaningful interaction, high-value men create space, not to play games, but to let emotions settle and deepen. When you're absent, the positive feelings you created have room to grow on their own. She starts to remember, to long for more. These men avoid over-communication. Instead, they let anticipation do the talking. In the next part, we'll explore how high-value men make women feel truly seen and special, not through loud declarations, but through presence, empathy, and emotional depth. After learning to master silence and create emotional hooks, high-value men understand a deeper truth. Space makes presence more powerful. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant messaging. But smart men know that less communication can build more anticipation. The power of space, letting absence create. Desire rather than always texting back immediately or oversharing, they maintain intentional space between conversations, not as a tactic, but as a way to let curiosity and longing grow. This space gives her the chance to wonder, what's he doing now? Why can't I stop thinking about that last conversation? That light mystery stimulates emotional tension and makes each new message or meeting feel much more significant. Quality over quantity, impact over immediacy. High-value men know that connection is built through quality, not frequency. They don't flood conversations to stay relevant. They focus on emotional resonance, making each exchange meaningful and memorable. Through patience, confidence, and mystery, they build connections that are rich, fulfilling, and impossible to forget, ending at the peak, leaving her wanting more. Another subtle skill, knowing when to exit the conversation. Instead of dragging it out until the energy drops, they leave at the high point. For example, after a great talk, they might say, "I've got to run, but I'd really love to continue this sometime." That moment does two things. It ends things positively and sets the stage for the next interaction. Most importantly, it leaves her feeling intrigued and wanting more, mastering the re-entry. When to reconnect. Once enough time has passed and emotions
Have deepened, the moment to re-engage is key.
In the next part, we'll explore how high-value men know exactly when and how to come back into the picture, reigniting connection as if it never skipped a beat. After intentionally creating space and allowing the other person to miss them, high-value men understand that the timing of re-engagement is critical. Reconnecting at the right moment, when emotions still linger. Reaching out too early might dilute the emotional impact, but waiting too long, that could risk the connection fading away entirely. And that's why high-value men aim for the perfect balance. They reconnect when curiosity is rising, yet the spark hasn't gone out. And when they do, it's never random. Instead of sending a bland, "Hey, how are you?" they refer to something specific from a previous conversation. For instance, you mentioned that project you were passionate about. Been thinking about it lately. How's it coming along? That single message speaks volumes. It reignites connection and shows you cared enough to remember, deepening the bond, not just checking. In true high-value men, avoid shallow small talk. They build on the emotional foundation they've already established. Referencing past details shows they were truly listening, that they care about who she is, not just how she looks. This kind of re-engagement strengthens the bond and makes you far more memorable. Communication with depth, purpose, and emotion. For these men, communication isn't about constant contact or surface-level charm. It's about emotional presence, creating anticipation, and showing genuine interest. When you master this, something powerful happens. You no longer chase, you attract. Even when you're gone, they'll still think of you. Ultimately, what makes high-value individuals so compelling is this: even in your absence, they'll remember you. They'll feel the space you leave behind, and they'll look forward to when you return. And in the next part, we'll dive into how to maintain that magnetic pull over time, making sure your presence lingers long after you've left the room. After everything we've explored, one truth becomes clear. Communication isn't just about speaking, it's the art of emotional resonance. A high-value man doesn't impress with empty words. He connects through intentional moments. Calm, subtle, yet deeply emotional. From the well-timed silence to the purposeful return, every action is crafted to build meaningful emotional connection. Not a game, but genuine attraction. Once you
master this art, you'll no longer feel the need to chase validation. You won't try to keep someone interested.
They'll come back, because they're drawn to you. You're not chasing attention, you're generating desire. Even when you're not speaking, your presence lingers. They remember how they felt around you. They want more. And here's what matters most. Women aren't just drawn to looks, status, or wealth. What truly captivates them is how you make them feel. So start with the subtle things. A well-placed pause, a question that stirs the soul, a graceful exit, a thoughtful reappearance. These simple yet intentional actions, when done sincerely, will make you unforgettable. Thanks for watching to the end. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might benefit too. And don't forget to subscribe. There's more to come that you won't want to miss. Until next time, stay magnetic.